Ever feel like the ghost of a past love is still picking out the movies on a Friday night? Or that your heart, after all this time, is still, well, on pause? For so many of us navigating midlife, the echo of heartbreak can stick around much longer than we'd like. It can make the thought of opening up again feel like climbing a mountain, barefoot. And if you're over 40 or 50 and single again, maybe after a long relationship or marriage, you're definitely not the only one. Getting back out there can feel uniquely challenging. You're not alone if those memories of your last relationship have felt like a heavy anchor, holding you in a sea of what ifs and what was. But what if I told you that the quietest shifts happening inside you, those little moments you might be brushing off, are actually huge signals? What if those whispers are your heart, gently, cautiously, suggesting it might be ready for a new story? That anchor. It's heavy, isn't it? It's probably made of old disappointments, maybe betrayal, or just the slow, painful drift of a connection that once felt like it would last forever. Midlife heartbreak just hits different. It's not only about losing a person, it can feel like losing a future you'd carefully mapped out, a shared history that was a massive chapter of your life. You might catch yourself thinking, is it too late for me? Or am I just too damaged, too set in my ways, or honestly, just too tired to start all over again? These aren't just passing thoughts, are they? They can loop in your head, becoming a shield that, while totally understandable, also keeps new light from getting in. Sometimes, that familiar ache of old heartbreak can almost become a weird kind of comfort. It's a pain you know, unlike the scary unknown of opening yourself up to getting hurt again. You might see others moving on, maybe even your ex, and a fresh wave of just washes over you, sadness, confusion, you name it. The world keeps spinning, and you feel like you're stuck in emotional quicksand, where every try to move forward just pulls you deeper into the past. Maybe you find yourself comparing everyone new to your ex, or worse, just dodging connections altogether because the risk feels way too big. Now, going through that grief and adjustment is completely natural, even necessary. But there comes a point when the scenery inside you starts to change, often so quietly you barely even notice. These aren't big, dramatic moments. They're quiet, definite shifts. These are the signs we're here to explore today, the ones that show you've really processed the past, and your heart isn't just hanging in there, it's actually nudging you towards something new and hopeful. So, how do you actually know? How can you tell the difference between just a good mood and genuine readiness? It's about recognizing these quiet changes, these gentle shifts in your emotional landscape. These are the moments when that anchor starts to feel a little lighter, when the waters around you seem a bit calmer, and the horizon begins to glow with a soft, hopeful light. Let's talk about 5 undeniable signs that your heart is moving beyond heartbreak and getting ready to welcome midlife love. The first, and maybe the most fundamental sign, is a real sense of acceptance and peace about your past relationship. This isn't about forgetting what happened or pretending the pain wasn't real. Oh no, that scar is part of your story, it shows you know how to love and feel deeply. Instead, acceptance means you can look back at that chapter without getting swamped by those overwhelming waves of sadness, anger, or regret. The emotional charge has faded. You might remember a tough moment, but it doesn't have the power to ruin your day or send you spiraling anymore. Think of it like this, for a long time, memories of your ex or the relationship might have felt like poking a raw wound, super painful, instant, and could make you feel like you were bleeding all over again. Now, it's more like touching a healed scar. You know it's there, you remember how you got it, but it doesn't throb with constant pain. You process the lessons, even the really hard ones, and maybe you can even start to appreciate the good times for what they were, without them casting a shadow over your future. This means you're not replaying arguments in your head anymore, wondering what you could have done differently, or feeling that burning unfairness about how things ended. All that mental energy that was tied up in the past? It's starting to free up. Why is this a sign of readiness? Because when you've made peace with the past, you stop dragging its emotional baggage into today. You're not looking for a new partner to fix old hurts, and you're not slapping the flaws of your ex onto every new person you meet. You've allowed yourself to grieve, to understand, and to weave that experience into who you are now, someone wiser, and definitely more resilient. Take Sarah, for example. Her divorce after 20 years was absolutely devastating. For the first couple of years, just hearing her ex-husband's name or driving past their old neighborhood would bring on tears and this awful sense of failure. Slowly, by doing some soul-searching, leaning on friends, and really focusing on her own well-being, she started to see the relationship as this complex mix of joy, growth, and eventually, a painful split. One day, she stumbled upon an old photo album. Instead of the usual wave of grief, she felt a quiet nostalgia for some of the happy memories, and a clear understanding of the patterns that led to the breakup, without all the intense blame or beating herself up. She realized she wasn't angry anymore, just accepting. That quiet shift, that ability to look back with a measure of peace, was her heart signaling it had mended enough to think about new possibilities, without that heavy filter of past pain. This kind of peace is fertile ground for new love. The second undeniable sign is when you start feeling a renewed, gentle curiosity about other people and even about the idea of love itself. This isn't some frantic, desperate hunt to fill a void. It's not about swiping right on every dating app profile because you're lonely. It's more of a subtle, almost surprising, little stir of interest. You might find yourself actually enjoying conversations with new people, with no agenda, just appreciating the connection. Maybe you catch yourself daydreaming, not about your ex, but about what a future companionship could be like, and you feel a little flutter of warmth or intrigue instead of that instant fear or cynicism. This openness can show up in small ways. Maybe you're at a coffee shop, you notice someone interesting, and instead of immediately shutting down the thought or feeling anxious, you just observe with a bit of curiosity. Or a friend suggests a casual group hangout, and your first instinct isn't no way, but more like, that could actually be nice. You might even find yourself more open to friends' stories about their own relationships, listening with an open heart instead of a guarded one. The world starts to look a little more inviting, a little less like a minefield of potential hurt. Why is this such a powerful sign? Because it shows your heart isn't in lockdown mode anymore. After a heartbreak, our emotional defenses are on super high alert. We build walls, not to be mean, but to protect ourselves. Renewed curiosity means those walls are starting to soften, that natural desire we all have for connection is starting to wake up again. It suggests you're starting to believe, even if just a tiny bit, that new connections might bring joy instead of just pain. Your heart is tentatively peeking out, testing the waters, and finding that the temperature might just be okay. Consider Mark. After a really painful breakup that left him feeling betrayed, he swore off relationships for years. He was all about work and his kids. If a social invitation even hinted at meeting new people, it was a polite no thanks. But slowly, he started noticing a change. He joined a hiking club, mostly for the exercise at first. But then he found himself really enjoying the easy camaraderie, the lighthearted chats on the trail. One day, another hiker shared a funny dating story, and Mark, much to his own surprise, actually laughed and even shared a quick, light story of his own. He wasn't actively looking for a partner, but he realized he was enjoying just connecting with new people, feeling a sense of lightness and interest he hadn't felt in ages. That little spark of curiosity, that willingness to engage without expecting anything specific, was a clear sign his heart was opening up to the world, and maybe, to love again. The third undeniable sign is a real, vibrant reconnection with joy, with yourself, and with the passions that make you uniquely you. Midlife dating, and being ready for it, is just as much about rediscovering your own amazing life as it is about finding someone to share it with. Think about it, after a big relationship ends, especially a long one, parts of your identity can feel a bit lost, or maybe you willingly put them on a shelf. Maybe you stopped painting, or you haven't taken a solo trip in years, or you turned down your love for loud music to keep a partner happy. When you find yourself enthusiastically picking up those old threads again, or even discovering brand new interests that genuinely make you smile and put a spring in your step, that's a huge signal of healing. This isn't about distracting yourself from loneliness, it's about actively, joyfully, taking back and expanding your own life. You're not waiting for someone else to make you happy, you're making your own happiness from the inside out. This journey of self-discovery often gives you a major boost in self-love and confidence, and those are the absolute foundations of any healthy, thriving new relationship. You start to feel whole, all on your own. Why is this reconnection with joy such an important sign? Because it means you're no longer seeing your happiness or your worth through the lens of a romantic relationship. You're building a rich, fulfilling life that you genuinely love, and a new partner would be a wonderful addition to that richness, not a requirement for it. This inner contentment makes you a more attractive and healthier partner, someone who's looking to share a life, not to have someone else complete it. It also means you're much more likely to choose a partner who adds to your joy, rather than one you hope will create it for you. Let's think about Maria. During her marriage, her weekends were often filled with family obligations and her husband's hobbies. She'd always loved pottery but hadn't touched clay in over 10 years. A few months after her divorce, feeling a bit adrift, a friend gently nudged her to try a beginner's pottery class. Hesitantly, she signed up. The moment her hands touched the clay, something just clicked. She found herself completely lost in it, covered in mud, and feeling a kind of creative fulfillment she hadn't realized she was missing so much. She started going to classes regularly, then even set up a little studio in her garage. Her friends noticed a change in her. She was more animated, more centered, more Maria. This rekindled passion wasn't about finding a new man, it was about rediscovering herself. That authentic joy, coming from a place of self-connection, was a clear sign that her heart was full and ready to overflow, rather than looking to be filled. The fourth undeniable sign is a new, or maybe hard one, clarity about what you truly need and, just as importantly, what you absolutely will not tolerate in a relationship anymore. With the wisdom that midlife often brings, and the lessons from past heartbreaks, you get a much sharper sense of your non-negotiables. You're less likely to wear those rose-tinted glasses, and more likely to see people and situations for what they really are. You can pinpoint your core values, maybe it's kindness, mutual respect, a shared sense of humor, intellectual curiosity, or emotional availability, and you're just not willing to compromise on them anymore simply to be in a relationship. This clarity doesn't mean you have an impossibly long checklist that no one could ever live up to. It's not about being picky just for the sake of it. It's about a deep-seated self-respect. You've learned what a healthy connection feels like, and you've also learned what drains you or makes you feel small. You're able to express your needs and boundaries, not aggressively, but assertively and calmly. You understand that saying no to what doesn't work for you is actually saying yes to your own well-being and to the chance of a truly compatible partnership. Why is this clarity so key for readiness? It means you're looking at the idea of new love not from a place of loneliness or fear of being alone, but from a position of strength and self-awareness. You're not looking for just anyone, you're looking for the right kind of connection for you, one that fits with who you are and what you genuinely want for your life. This clear-sightedness protects you from repeating past mistakes and helps you attract people who are actually capable of meeting you where you are, with honesty and respect. You're no longer hoping someone will change, or that you can fix them, you're looking for someone who's already on a similar wavelength. Take David. His previous relationship ended because of a big mismatch in how they communicated and how emotionally available they were. He often felt unheard and emotionally neglected. After the breakup, he spent a lot of time reflecting, journaling, and even talking with a therapist to understand his own relationship patterns and what he really needed. He realized that for him, open communication and emotional responsiveness weren't just nice-to-haves, they were essential. As he tentatively started thinking about dating again, he found himself paying close attention to how potential dates communicated, how they listened, and whether they seemed genuinely interested in understanding him. He went on a few dates where he noticed old patterns cropping up, a partner who talked endlessly about themselves, or one who was dismissive of his feelings. In the past, he might have tried harder, hoping to bridge the gap. Now, with clarity, he recognized these as signs that they just weren't the right fit for him, and he was able to step away politely but firmly, without a lot of drama or lingering disappointment. This ability to see and honor his needs was a clear testament to his readiness for a healthier, more give-and-take kind of love. The fifth, and maybe the most courageous sign, is a quiet, budding willingness to be emotionally vulnerable again. After the intense pain of heartbreak, it's the most natural thing in the world to build walls around your heart. These walls are built from fear, from past hurts, from the instinct to protect yourself from ever feeling that kind of devastation again. And they serve their purpose, for a while. But when you start to notice those walls, not crumbling down dramatically, but maybe getting a little lower, a little easier to see through, or letting a little light in, that's a profound shift. Vulnerability isn't about spilling your guts to every stranger or recklessly throwing your heart at the first person who shows a flicker of interest. It's much more subtle than that. It's that gentle willingness to share your real thoughts, your true feelings, your hopes, and yes, even some of your fears, with someone new who has earned a bit of your trust. It's allowing yourself to be seen, truly seen, without the usual masks or putting on a front. This doesn't mean you're suddenly fearless. The fear might still be there, a faint whisper in the background, but your courage to connect, to be real, becomes a little louder. You're willing to embrace the uncertainty that's just part of it and the beautiful intimacy that real love needs to grow. Why is this willingness to be vulnerable the ultimate sign of readiness? Because love, in its truest form, simply cannot blossom without vulnerability. It's the very soil where intimacy, trust, and deep connection take root. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you are showing that your heart, despite its past wounds, is ready to risk again. It shows that you believe in the possibility of a connection that is safe and nurturing enough for you to reveal your true self. It means that the desire for genuine intimacy is beginning to outweigh the fear of potential pain. And that, right there, is an act of incredible bravery and profound hope. Think of Linda. Her ex-partner had been highly critical, and over time, she'd learned to keep her thoughts and feelings to herself to avoid arguments. After they separated, this pattern of holding back continued. She was friendly, sure, but very guarded with everyone. Then, she started a new job and found herself working closely with a colleague, Michael, on a project. Michael was kind, a good listener, and even shared his own professional vulnerabilities and occasional uncertainties. Slowly, Linda found herself sharing a little more about her day, her opinions on the project, even a brief, carefully worded anxiety she had. To her surprise, Michael didn't criticize or dismiss her. He listened, validated her feelings, and offered support. One day, during a coffee break, she found herself talking about a personal challenge she was facing, something she hadn't shared with anyone. As the words came out, she felt that familiar pang of fear, but also an unexpected wave of relief. Michael's empathetic response made her realize that it was possible to be seen and accepted. This gradual, tentative opening up, this willingness to let down her guard, even just a little, was her heart quietly saying, "I'm ready to trust again. I'm ready to connect." This journey toward readiness isn't always a straight line. Healing and feeling emotionally ready can ebb and flow. Some days you might feel incredibly open and optimistic, and on others, a wave of old sadness or fear might pop up. That's perfectly normal. Be patient and kind to yourself during those moments. As Brené Brown talks a lot about, midlife is often a time of learning deep self-love and acceptance, and this self-compassion is absolutely foundational to opening your heart to others. There's also a lot of wisdom in the idea of being passionately detached, as some relationship experts suggest. This means you approach the dating process and new connections with an open heart and genuine interest, but you're not desperately clinging to a specific outcome. You let relationships unfold naturally, without forcing them or pinning all your hopes on one person. This balance helps you keep your balance emotionally and actually enjoy the journey. Recognizing these 5 undeniable signs: acceptance of the past, renewed curiosity, reconnection with joy, clarity on your needs and boundaries, and a willingness to be vulnerable, isn't about ticking off boxes on a list. It's about tuning into the subtle, yet powerful, symphony of your own healing. These quiet shifts? They're really profound. They are whispers from your resilient heart, showing you that it has not only survived the storms of heartbreak but has also learned, grown, and is now gently, courageously, preparing to unfurl its sails again. If these signs are hitting home for you, even in small ways, please take a moment to acknowledge your journey. You've done the hard work of healing. Those memories of your last relationship may no longer feel like an anchor, but more like a chapter in a book that has made you the incredible person you are today. Your heart is not broken beyond repair, it is wise, it is capable, and it may just be nudging you toward new, beautiful possibilities for midlife love. The calm you're experiencing, the openness you're feeling, these are your strengths. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these signs are you noticing in your own life? Are there other quiet shifts you've experienced that told you your heart was healing? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your story could be the very beacon of hope someone else needs to see. And if this message resonated with you, if it offered some comfort or clarity, please give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more content on navigating the beautiful, and sometimes complex, journey of midlife love and personal growth. Click that notification bell too, so you don't miss our next conversation. Readiness for love in midlife isn't about finding someone to complete you, it's about finding someone to share your already rich and evolving completeness with. Those quiet shifts, those moments of unexpected calm and openness, they really are significant. They are the powerful, undeniable signs that you have bravely moved beyond heartbreak and that your heart is gently, but surely, nudging you towards the beautiful new possibilities that await. Trust those signals. Trust yourself. The next chapter of your love story is waiting to be written, and you, my friend, are holding the pen.